So section 2 in this unit is going to be covering areas of triangles, and this should be very similar to what we were doing in the last section, with just a little bit of an extension because it's triangles. So the idea that I want us to understand is that if you take a rectangle and you cut it in half diagonally, like this, I want you to notice that I'm actually creating two triangles. So the first triangle is right here, and then the second triangle being on the other side. So if I did the same shape here to here, I want you to know that a triangle and a rectangle are 1/2 of each other. So a triangle is half of a rectangle. Therefore, when we're finding the area of the figure, what we do is we take our triangle, and let's say we clone it, and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. And we attach it here. Whoops. Attach it right there. Now we're going to color it differently here. Let's color this one blue. We could do the same thing that we did before and count all of the squares. So 4 times 4 would be 16 units for the square. But this triangle and this triangle are equal to each other, and they add up to the total area of the figure. Therefore, the triangle has 8 units. Showing us that the triangle is half of the rectangle that it creates. Therefore, and this is equal to candy, a triangle area formula is one of two ways. Either 1/2 times the base times the height, which means it's a half of the area of the rectangle, or another way to say that would be the base times the height. We take that answer divided by 2. Both of these mean the same thing. So if I have two triangles here, the way that I find the area would be is I would have to take the base times the height and divide by 2. So the base would be 7, and because this creates a 90-degree angle, this is the height, which is 4. So we do 28 divided by 2, which is 14 square feet. Now, for this triangle over here, this is not the height, because this does not create a 90-degree angle right here. Therefore, we could not find the height of this figure. But let's say instead of that, this here is the height, which is 8. Then we would do 6 times 8, which is 48. And 48 divided by 2 would be 24 square feet. So, just like we had done before, what if we're given the area of the triangles, here 24.5, and we need to figure out what the side length would be. This one would be the height, and this being the base. I want you to try these two on your own, and then I will give you the answers. So for the first one, my first inkling is that x would be 3, because 3 times 12 is 36. But when you're doing triangles, you have to divide by 2. Therefore, this wouldn't work. I would have to double that answer. Therefore, my answer has to be x equals 6 inches, because 6 times 12 is 72, and 72 divided by 2 is 36. Therefore, for this answer, the other way to think of it is I'm going to take this times 2. 24.5 times 2 is 49. So I need 7 times something to equal 49. Therefore, my y has to be equal to 7 centimeters, because 7 times 7 is equal to 49, which would give us the answer, because 49 divided by 2 would be equal to our area of 24 0.5. If you have any questions, like always, make sure you ask me when you get a chance.